Thank you, Devin. And yes, here we are Thursday morning, certainly not Saturday or Saturday, but tax season. It's already here, and folks are sure to be thinking about how they're going to be filing those affairs in order. As we trudge through the start of the year, Bill Vankus of the ADRC is here joining us this morning. Thanks for taking the time and walking us through a little bit of this tax, help this year.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me some time here to let people know that we've got a good free service coming up here. So
yes, it's the ADRC in partnership with the AARP, isn't that right? TaxAid?
Yeah, it's a unique operation that really takes four groups to make this thing happen. First of all, you got the IRS. They provide the training and the testing and all that. We all have to be certified from them. And they provide the software that we use. And then we've got the ADRC Foundation that contributes money to buy the computers and the paper and the ink and all of that. We need the ADRC that supplies us the room, plus they take the appointments, which is just a real godsend for us. And then there's volunteers that volunteer their time to do this. So it really takes the whole group to come together to allow this to be done and provide a free service like this.
And so that's, thank you for your time. Certainly, the volunteers, can't be said enough for them. But so how do people participate in this? If they were, who can file their taxes with you in the organization?
Well, we can do most of them. There are some that are out of scope for us. If you have rental property or if you have a business, we can't do some of those things. We don't have the depreciation schedules to be able to do some of the business stuff. But for most of the regular returns we can do. Now we have an emphasis on people 60 and older and low to moderate income. So that's our real target audience, but we do some for younger people as well too. So it's just, I just tell people, instead of paying $100 or $200 to have it done, and not to take it away from paid preparers, they do a good job, but you could get the equivalence of another $100 or $200 refund back.
Exactly.
If you don't have to pay it out. So.
Especially after the holiday season. I know, everyone's kind of been busy and about, getting gifts for everyone in there, their sister and brothers and everyone under the sun. And it is a good way to, kind of save a few bucks here and there. And certainly, you're a well-trained professional now. And how long have you been doing it now, Bill?
This will be my 14th year.
14th year, my goodness.
I got to tell you, I'm one of the short timers. Tom has been there for, I think this will be his 26th year. Nancy is in that range as well, too. So
they know what they're doing.
Well, it's not our first rodeo, let's put it that old phrase. But so anyway, yeah. So the cool part is now, starting Monday the 6th, the ADRC will start taking appointments. So we don't actually do taxes until February.
Okay.
The IRS doesn't open up their ability to e-file until like the 28th or 29th of January. So we always start the first Monday in February. But people will start making appointments, and they'll fill up relatively fast. We did a little over 500 returns in Rhinelander last year.
Oh, goodness.
And we were filled up. We've got one more volunteer this year. People from Tomahawk may know Rose. She was, when there was a site in Tomahawk, she was working there. So she's coming over to help us out. So we'll schedule a few more appointments. So we could get closer to 600 in Rhinelander this year. There's also sites, in our district in Eagle River and in Minocqua.
Okay.
So we have 3. Years ago, there was one in Park Falls and there was one in Tomahawk, but they ran into issues trying to find somebody that enough volunteers, but especially to be the site coordinators. So they ended up closing those sites. But so yeah, we get a lot of people from Tomahawk that'll come over and visit us, and so it's just some people think, well, I don't know if this is so good or not. You got these old retirees that are pretending to be tax people. Is this really a good thing or not? But again, we do have to go through the training. We have to pass the test through the IRS to be able to do this. So we feel pretty confident that we can handle most returns. And again, like I said, it's a way to save some money. And if you got a complicated one or you've got some issues, there's a place for certified public accounts. There's a place for other paid professionals to do that. But for the more routine type ones, we think we do a good job. And our rates of having rejected returns are extremely low. We're in the less than 1%. And usually it's for something like person forgets to tell us that they've had a issue with something, and so we don't have it entered in. And it's just amazing. We'll do returns, so we do 30, 35 a day.
Oh, goodness.
We will e-file those at 4 o'clock when we're done for the day.
Okay.
About 2 hours later, I'll check them at home to see if they've been acknowledged, accepted, and they have. Now, just imagine all of the documents that are out there floating around. It will tell us if there's a mismatch between like a W-2 or a 1099. It will tell us if there's a mismatch on that. I mean, just think of the computing power to be able to go through billions of these documents within a 2-hour period and tell us if they've all matched up all right.
Well, that is an impressive bit of software right there.
It is. The old joke about Big Brother is watching. My goodness, Big Brother is watching. That's another thing I like to, people say, geez, I hate to do the taxes. I don't like telling the government how much I've made and all this. Trust me, the government knows how much you've made other than cash sales. Any W-2, any 1099, any of those things are all reported there. And they're already in there because they can match if there's something wrong. Say we transposed a number in the account or something, it'll come up as an issue right away.
Interesting.
So trust me, you're not really tipping your hand to them other than, like I said, maybe some cash type sales, but they already know that. So what you really want to do is how can we reduce our tax liability? We want to make sure that we maximize the deductions and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, there we go. Certainly some good tips there. And how would people make an appointment with you?
Okay, call the ADRC here in Rhinelander for the Rhinelander site, and that number is 715-369-6170. And they will set you up with an appointment, tell you, we do it in Rhinelander, we do it on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
I think Eagle River does just Wednesdays, and I think Minocqua just does Fridays, if I'm not mistaken. But for those two locations, I think they both work out of their libraries. So there'd be a contact number up there for at each one of their sites. But so that's the first step, and then you have to come in and pick up an envelope with an intake form and fill that out, so that we've got all that information ready. So when you come in, we can hit the road running.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're filing 35 a day, I mean, my goodness, you got to have all the ducks in order, per se.
We do, but and I've said this before in the show. We'll have people that'll walk by and they'll stop and they'll poke their head in the door at the ADRC and say, "I thought you guys were doing taxes in here. You guys are laughing." We have a good time, and something like 80 to 85% of our taxes that we do get a refund. So it's not, everybody thinks of taxes, oh my God, now I got to pay into the IRS. We do homestead tax credits for people, which are a real service, especially for lower income individuals. If they rent a place and their landlord pays property tax, or if they pay property tax if they own the property, there's a state credit that can come back. And there's also a state credit for property tax for veterans if they're disabled. So besides if you've had enough withdrawn from your paychecks during the year where you might get some money back, there are also some things like the credits, the homestead tax credit and the veterans property credit that can come back. So like I said, the majority of our people get something back. So it's not that Grim Reaper type story so much.
So it's a happy time to come and see.
Well, it is. Number one, you get the stress off you. You got it done. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But hey, if you're going to get and again, talking about those computers, when we e-file those returns in about a week, they're getting their, especially if they do a direct deposit. I mean, the world is traveling a lot faster than it used to. Well, you're probably used to that pace yet. I'm not, but.
Well, I think you're doing just fine with it. Well, hopefully folks come on down to the ADRC, get their taxes filed properly. And thanks again for coming on this morning. I'm sure folks will see more of you, especially if they tune in later today at 4 p.m. I got a hunch they're going to see more of you, Bill.
Yeah. I don't have a coffee mug yet.
Not yet. He's not on the bill
around,
yet. But anyway, thanks for coming on in this morning.
Thank you very much, Michael.
So coming up, we have